man. That's right, man. It's me, Bob, the stereotypical white nationalist Trump supporter. Yeah, man, we done did it. We's back in the White House. That's right, man. Yeah, man, we right back where we should be. Right back in that White House to make it white and pure snow. Now, listen, y'all. Since we've been back in the White House now, I decided to take a break from being up in the back hills of Alabama with no militia, trying to get ready for the race war we're trying to start. And I came to an idea, man. I said, you know what would be funny? If we, now that we done won back the White House, if we can send out a mass text to all of these blacks to tell them, yeah, man, we know where you're at if you're black, okay? That's right, man. We gonna send them a text message telling them, listen, man, now that we back in power, white power that is, you've got to show up tomorrow for slavery, okay? You've got to report 5 a.m., man. We want you on that cotton field picking cotton, baling hay too, man. And if you've got a problem with it, then you ain't right. And if you ain't right, that must mean you ain't white. Now, God bless you, only if you're white.
What's going on, America? Welcome to Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. Before we get into this video, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button, share my videos. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure your notification buttons are turned on to all. Subscribe to my alternative channel, just in case YouTube give me the slip or something. You'll know how to find me. Don't forget to check me out with all the podcasts and follow me on Rumble and the Jungle. All the links are listed below. If you want to donate to my channel, feel free. Those links are below as well. Now, with no further ado,
welcome to my party. We're just getting started.
So it appears that we got another hoax.
The Justice Department and the FBI, along with the FCC, have teamed up to investigate a series of vile and racist text messages that you can partially see here on your screen. The anonymous texts were sent to black people in more than half a dozen states. Men, women, and even middle school students started receiving them shortly after the election. Tell me a little bit more about these texts, where they came from, and who's been getting them.
So the FBI is saying that it's in touch with the Justice Department, but we're also hearing from middle schools, high schools, universities, and 2 attorneys general saying they're also looking into these text messages. So we know they're pretty widespread. Now, just from our own reporting yesterday, we identified people in more than half a dozen states who said they had received these messages. Now, they were all black Americans. They reported receiving almost identical language in the text as well. And what we also know is that these messages, you know, they address people by name and also mention their locations.
Now, you see this, y'all? I mean, you already know what's going on. First of all, whenever you see Big Cankles fake behind Queen Latifah, who, of course, just got on TV talking about, we're going to fight against Donald Trump. We're going to resist him. If he comes up here thinking he could have retribution, we are prepared to fight. We've studied all of his tactics and all this. Whenever she gets involved, you know some shenanigans is going on. So now, apparently, there is this widespread text message that's going out just to black people. Just to black people. And I'm wondering to myself, where could this be coming from? Where can it be coming from? And the timing is very suspicious, but we better look into it because we would hate to be, of course, tricked again through some type of hoax or some attempt to make people become irate, suspicious of each other, and stuff like that. We would hate that. So we better go ahead and dig into this and get some reporting because we got to find out why these text messages are going out like this, because they got folks like the Attorney General and stuff looking into it. And I'm thinking, I'm not an Attorney General. I don't have any of the resources and stuff, but I do have a Columbo way of thinking. See, so now I have to put on my Columbo thinking cap and try to figure out who would have the motivation to send out a text message only to black people.
The FBI is investigating reports of a wave of racist text messages hitting black people's phones in multiple states. These messages are being reported in at least 8 states, and many of the targets appear to be middle school, high school, and college-age students. All of the messages following a pattern, sharing similar language, including racist rhetoric that they had been, quote, selected to pick cotton.
Oh, yeah, man. Trump won, baby. Trump 2024. I can't wait for him to get started, man. What? Hold on. What's this? Text message. Dear Kevin from Kevin's Corner, thank you for voting for the white nationalist, xenophobe, homophobe, the slave owner. You have been selected for slavery. starting tomorrow. Report to bale hay and cotton. I made a mistake, though, man. Nah, I can't even finish the video, man. I gotta go get ready, man. I got a long day of picking cotton and stuff tomorrow. Cause the text message came through and said it. Yeah, they said it. So obviously, yeah, I've been drafted into slavery. I just got drafted back into slavery, y'all. So now, I gotta use some deductive reasoning here. There's some questions that I have that I'm going to try to reserve as these people try to pretend that this is a serious story, and they're surrendering their investigative curiosity to say, you know what, let's check motive, let's check resources, let's check timing, let's put all this together before we put it out there into public as if this right here is a result of what? The election. So now I gotta help them out. I gotta do the investigation for them.
Well, Kate, first off, it looks like this is more widespread than we expected, with people in at least 24 states now having reported receiving these messages. And these texts are not just upsetting, but they are alarming. They are personalized, and many of them specifically target Black and brown individuals, some of them students, some of them children.
Now, I'm just thinking out loud. What type of white supremacists or white nationalists would have the type of capability to send out a mass text that is targeted specifically for blacks and is able to also reach over across all types of states? Do you think that maybe someone with that type of powerful technology and database of those people might just be somebody with some resources to do that besides some white nationalists up in the back hills of Alabama? When I think of this, I'm saying to myself, this has hoax written all over it. First things first, this happened right after the election. The Democrats are so obvious with their tactics that once you see it, you're going, this is a Democrat hoax immediately. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is a hoax. Are you kidding me? So instead of celebrating our win, instead of celebrating the fact that we all came together from different races and stuff like that, instead of all of us Trump supporters rejoicing, some white person decides, I'm going to ruffle the feathers. I'm going to go ahead and tip over the apple cart. We ain't heard none of this stuff happening prior to the election. Trump wins. He increases his support from blacks, Latinos, and all these other races. And the Democrats can't have that now, can they? They can't have people having peace. They want chaos. They want folks to be going outraged over, oh, now what's going to happen to us? You know, they want people on the internet crying, saying, I'm scared to go to sleep. Y'all, I think I'm going to wake up in slavery. They want that. So now, would it be more beneficial to us to do that and set back our agenda, divide the country when we're uniting and all of that, and make Trump look bad? Or would it be more beneficial for his opposition, who's been painting him as a racist, misogynist, xenophobe, and he hates black people, to somehow use some software or some database that maybe they've been collecting through maybe TikTok or maybe through people who registered to support the Kamala Harris campaign and put in a lot of information and stuff like that. And they got the power and the resources to send out a mass text that targets only black people. Could it be that if they was to do that, they would know that the media would come in and don't investigate nothing and would push the story and try to connect it to Trump? And then they can say, see what happens? Y'all selected a white supremacist. Therefore, all of these mysterious white supremacists, these mysterious white nationalists that I can't seem to find out where they're meeting and stuff, all of a sudden now they're emboldened to come out and start sending out mass texts. But then secondly, when you get a text like that, as a common sense person, if I'm black and I get one, I'm going, the Democrats playing games again. They're sending text messages, y'all. This is hilarious. But what person, though, is going to get that text message that, man, see, I knew it, man. We about to look, man, I got a report. It says it right here in the text message. It says it in the text message. I gotta come and bale hay and pick cotton. Who's going to take that text seriously? You get that text pop up and you go, man, this is a mess, man. See, I knew it, man. They messed up, man. I gotta go report to slavery tomorrow. They got me on cotton duty, man. What about you? I'm on bale and hay duty. Man, see, what person is going to do that? What person is going to take that seriously? See, they're trying to make people take it seriously because they took an L. They took a loss. And the only people who would benefit from a mass text just targeting black people saying slavery would be some left-wing either organization, entity, or something like that. That is not something Trump supporters are focused on and would do. We're too happy and too busy celebrating this victory. But of course, this crazy text goes out just for black people, and the media comes out, and what do? Try to connect it to Trump. Now, if you know the tactics of the left, first thing they do is they create a false flag. They will say, how do we change the narrative? How do we plant something on somebody, some evidence on somebody to tie them to something? And then we're going to activate the media to come out and push the story as if it's legit, to legitimize the story and to blow it up and make it seem like, look at this. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't from Trump. Instead of saying, no, wait a minute, before we run with this story and even mention Trump's name, maybe we should wait, because they have a habit of hoaxes. And then later on, we find out it was a hoax and they're going, my fault. After they then pushed it around the country and got folks all riled up.
I want to show you one of the texts. It was sent to us by a woman in New Jersey. The text has her name written at the top of it, as you can see right there. And it references picking cotton. It references slave catchers and plantations. And some of the messages specifically reference President-elect Trump.
Well, go figure. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Somehow Trump's name got mixed in there because of some white supremacists on his internet inside of his house, in his drawers and stuff like that in his basement, who has access to that type of database and that type of computer technology. And he's deciding, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send out this text. It's going to be so funny. Do you really think that this came from a conservative or a Trump supporter? And just so happened when they did it, they put Trump's name in it. This way you can tie Trump to it, right? You can tie him to it, see? I mean, it sounds like a diabolical scheme that would come out of a party that just lost, and they lost support from a key demographic that they rely on, and therefore they want to tie Trump to a mysterious hoax text that goes out talking about black folks need to report to baling hay and picking cotton. That's what it sounds like. Purposefully said, let's put Trump's name in there so that the media can use that and say, that specifically says Trump's name. Interesting.
Now, to be clear, the Trump campaign has told several media outlets that they had absolutely nothing to do with this.
Why would you think they have? Why would you think, after all that they done been through, after them going out and bringing together a wonderful coalition of voters, you think somebody in their campaign would say, you know what, let's sabotage that and set it all back by sending out a mass text saying that, you know what, these black people need to report to baling hay and picking cotton? Why would you even think that they would be connected to that?
But as you can imagine, many people are really on edge in these days since the election. I want to play for you what a Colorado mother said after her 16-year-old son got one of these texts. Take a listen.
It's very tense. It's very scary for a lot of individuals. The fact that it happened the day after, Election Day, it really speaks to what I think is going on here.
It's just me thinking off the top of my head. It is kind of suspicious that the fact that it would happen right after the election might make me wonder who would have a motive to send out a text after they took a butt whooping and lost the black vote in a lot of ways and other minorities. Could it be some type of a false flag? We know the Democrats' tactics now. Problem is, people like that lady right there don't. And they picked her just to pretend that, look at this, people are scared now. People are scared. Yeah, Trump gets elected, and now look at all these people that are scared. They're creating the outrage. This text is very obvious. They sent this text out to whatever database they got these people's names and information from to create panic, fear, and make it appear that now life is going to be horrible under Trump. Look at that. He done activated all these white nationalists, and then they bring in somebody to push the hoax.
And the president of the NAACP put out a statement saying these messages represent an alarming increase in vile and abhorrent rhetoric from racist groups across the country who now feel emboldened to spread hate and stoke the flames of fear that many of us are feeling after Tuesday's election result.
Go figure. This right here is, it's not shocking that this would happen. I'm not even going to wait to see if it came from one of our people. I'm not going to wait to see if this is some left winger who wants to go ahead and frame Trump and all of his support. I'm not I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to simply say that this right here is not shocking, especially after all the fear that we're pushing into society after that Tuesday's election. That's what I'm going to say. See, this is the dirtiest, nastiest stuff ever. We all know. Only people who don't know this is not coming from the left are folks that voted for Kamala Harris and been definitely drinking the Kool-Aid of all of this propaganda. And now they're going to bring in tight knees, no bass in the voice to go ahead and report on it. That's what they're going to do.
So let's hear from tight knees, no bass in the voice, okay? He needs some
bass in the voice. Come on. He needs some bass in the voice. What?
Jonathan, there was a woman who told NBC she sees these texts as a scare tactic, but that it's working. I've seen videos of people on social media, people who did not get texts, but who are breaking down in tears, who are talking, as the woman whose sound we played, are thinking about how they are going to explain what's going on to their kids. Tell me what's going on here as you see it.
Well, you know, on election night on PBS, after it became clear that Donald Trump was on his way to the presidency, that I said that I was concerned on multiple levels. And the first level I said was I was concerned as an African American.
I was concerned as an African American. But I said it. I set the stages and laid the groundwork and stuff right now. And now what I'm gonna do is use my no bass in the voice to go ahead and push this lie, this hoax and this narrative and stuff, and try to tie it to Donald Trump and the fallout from him being elected because he's a white national, white supremacist. And that black guy on Kevin's corner always be joking because I ain't got no
bass in the voice. Come on. He needs some bass in his voice.
And I was concerned as an African American because of the rhetoric used by Donald Trump on the campaign trail, saying that he wanted to let police have a day, some sort of day of rage where they can get the crime situation under control in various cities. Well, the dog whistle there is that he's going to go after black people.
Now, do you see this propaganda? They just won't stop. They wonder why they lost. I'm glad they got their butts beat because of little weasels like this. Little weasels like tight knees, no bass.
Now here he is. I was scared because I'm a black person and Trump said he gonna sing the police on people. And what it is, instead of what he said it was, it's a dog whistle. The dog whistle that only we can hear. Only we can hear. His Trump supporters, they didn't hear it though. They didn't hear it though. It's funny how we the only ones that can hear the dog whistle. And the dog whistle is basically going after black people.
So now he's interpreting this dog whistle. Basically, he's making it up. He's going ahead and saying, well, obviously Trump's talking about going after black people. You see the division? You see the identity politics? This is the stuff that cost them the election. So instead of waiting and saying, you know what, I'm not going to spread this narrative. I'm not going to make this connection. I'm not going to try to make this leap from these text messages that just happen to pop up only to black people right after the election. I'm not going to go ahead and try to connect that because it would only further division in the country if I tried to make it seem like this is a result of Trump being elected. I probably should wait, see who's behind it, see if it's a hoax, something like that, or not even mention Trump's name. But what am I going to do? Somehow start talking about the election. We figured this was going to happen and all of that. This sounds like something only the Democrats would do. And yet they're bold enough to do it. They probably got the resources. I know they got the resources to do it, and they got the will to do it. And they know that even though conservatives would see right through this, the reason they do crap like this is because they know dummies won't.
And so to see that these text messages were going out the day after he becomes president-elect,
right after,
just feeds into the fear and concern that a lot of African Americans have about what is to come.
And that's the key to the evidence that Colombo is bringing. It's very ironic that it went out the day after the election, and it's all designed and packaged and worded with Trump's name in it just perfectly to feed into the so-called fear that a lot of black people have. Just perfectly. And then right after it comes out, you, tight knees, no bass, comes out and says, look at this.
This feeds right into the fear because it's a dog whistle. Black people are concerned because I'm telling them they should be concerned. I'm telling them they should be scared because Trump he gonna stick the police on you just to kill you because you black and stuff, and then all of that stuff.
This sounds like an inside job, a hit piece, a smear campaign, and Democrats are dirty and nasty enough to do something like this. There's no way that you can convince me that this is a legitimate text message, even if somebody from right or left sent this. Do you really think that this is serious? You don't think it's a hoax? People are pretending they're really scared when they get this text. Oh man, what I'm gonna do? We's got to run to the north because they just said I's got to come to slavery. Do you think that it's serious when it pops up? But of course, this right here is being done by somebody who has a database of black folks, numbers, names, and so on and so forth. And they said, let's do this and then try to tag Trump to it and then use
Chinese no base to come out and push the narrative.
And Chris, what is especially pernicious about this text messaging campaign is that some messages just said something like greetings. Other messages said greetings and the person's name. And so how did they get the person's name? How did they get the person's cell phone number? Where did they get this information to target specific people and now target specific people in multiple states across the country?
Well, that's a good question, Tight Knees No Base. And if you had a journalistic mind instead of a propaganda mind, you probably would say that's a good point. Could it be maybe even say the Chinese? Because TikTok, you got to put a lot of information in there. They would have a database of that. And I could probably imagine that they might want to divide the country because they definitely don't want Trump to be back in office and they don't want to unite us. And they got access to that database. I mean, you know, there are, I guess, the Democrat Party who, of course, they do surveys and they ask people to sign up and donate and all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure they got access to that. I'm pretty sure social media platforms, when you sign up, put all of your information in. It wouldn't take much for them to go ahead and select a certain demographic in a group of people and send out a random text. It wouldn't take much to do that. But I'm sure, though, it will probably be difficult for some random white supremacists or white nationalists to have that database, access to that. I'm pretty sure that would be hard, but I could see left-wing organizations. I could see maybe a very sympathetic intel community to the Democrats and the hatred of Trump. They might have access to that. There's a lot of people on the left who could have access to that and have a motive to send something out like that to try to stir up division again and make Trump's victory look bad and keep us divided. But he doesn't think like that. This guy's like,
but who can have access to that?
Do you think Trump did it? Do you think him and J.D. Vance said, now that we won, let's go ahead and send out a racist text message to all the black people who we've been gathering their data from? But Tight Knees No Base is not interested in getting to the bottom of it. He's interested in pushing this hoax on black people.
You know, I know, we're in this moment where we're trying to come to grips with
No, we're not.
What just happened.
No, we're not.
But I don't think anyone, particularly in those of us in our profession, and I'm not saying that we're doing that here. I'm just, doing a shot across the bow to others, to not downplay the concern and the legitimate fears, particularly people of color and especially black people have as a result of the election of Donald Trump to another term in the White House.
Now you see this crap? The fear that we're creating and drumming up, and they haven't learned their lesson. They haven't learned that these tactics don't work and they're obvious. These are attempts to stir up the pot, keep racism fresh in the minds of people, scare black people from saying maybe Trump's not that bad, scare black people from saying, now wait a minute, why is it that Trump increased his popularity and support from all of these minorities? What are they seeing that we don't see? Maybe these folks realize that we've been duped, and then they send Tight Knees No Base out there to try to pretend that this is organic fear. Yeah, I mean, we're not pushing it. We're not encouraging these people. We're not inciting this fear, and we're not doing that. We're simply here reporting on the fear as they are trying to create the fear. But you know what fear stands for? False evidence appearing real. Therefore, if you get that text message as a black person and you come talking about, I scared, I was going to have to report the bell, hey, you have bought into false evidence appearing real. And I'm here to expose it. Another hoax. God bless you. God bless America. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Share all my videos. If you want to support the channel, check out Kevin's Corner store, or you can simply donate to the channel. And please follow me on all the other social media platforms. Take care. And don't get caught up in the fear